The UK property market is on the edge of a major and permanent shift. And if you care about investing or even owning a home one day, you're gonna wanna hear this. Because what's happening right now, we haven't seen in years. And it's happening quietly, behind the headlines. And I'm saying that because most people are only seeing a tiny part of the story. And when you see the full picture, it changes the way that you look at property over the next 12 months completely. Now let's start with what everybody sees. The news is just pure panic. Budget next month, doom and gloom, talk of dropping the VAT threshold to £30,000, new national insurance rules for landlords, the renters reform bill tightening everything and even more. And it looks like every single decision is designed to squeeze these small landlords out of the market. The message that they repeat is the same every single day. Property's dead. Don't buy, don't invest. It's all going downhill. And most people hear that and they panic and they freeze. But here's where it gets weird. If you're actually in the market like I am and you own millions of pounds worth of property, you see a completely different reality. People are bidding aggressively, deals are being outbid left, right and center, and demand isn't falling, it's actually rising. And honestly, this is one of the biggest and best buying windows that I have seen in my entire career, and it's great for people who understand it, and it's pretty rough for the people that don't. And whilst this is happening, guess what? Big institutions are quietly buying. Companies, funds, banks, overseas wealth groups are buying aggressively. And these guys benefit from small investors being squeezed out the market because ultimately they think long term, not month to month. And don't you think it's a little bit weird that the hype around property being dead, but at the same time, the smartest and richest corporations and individuals in the world are literally capitalizing on this right now and stacking assets? One of my sayings is I always follow what the big boys are doing. If the big boys are buying, I'm buying. So why is this one of the best buying windows in my career? Well, prices in certain areas are soft. Put it this way, you can still buy a house for less than it costs to build it, okay? Just let that sink in. Sellers are motivated. Small landlords, they're exiting. They're selling the portfolio, they're selling individual assets, and there's more opportunities within this market for sitting tenants where landlords are gonna sell cheap because they don't wanna push tenants out because of the new renters' rights reform. This is a really good opportunity for asset management. You can negotiate really good deals with sitting tenants at the moment. Early movers in this market where people are scared is where the people get the best returns. So what is actually happening behind the scenes? Well, landlords are leaving because of taxes. We all know that. New investors are entering the market because they see opportunity. Big money is positioning before the market rebounds. We're in a stage, especially in the UK, where there's a transfer of ownership at the moment. And there's a huge shift in the UK property market, and there'll probably never be a time like this ever again. Now, we've talked about taxes, but how do these new taxes shift the landscape? Well, national insurance for landlords means lower margins. This hurts small operators. Wealth tax, targeting the middle class and the upper class. Now, companies avoid most of these issues, giving them a huge advantage, which is why when you're buying property yourself, you should always buy in a limited company. But why are tenants becoming harder and harder to manage? We have the renters reform bill, okay? It's now passed in law. King Charles has signed on the dotted line and it's been passed. And this gives tenants a lot more rights. Evictions become a lot slower. You can't kick somebody out just because you want to increase the rent. You need to have to prove that you want to sell the asset or go and live in there. And there's more landlords ultimately choosing to do different models. I'm sure all of you guys have heard of. Service accommodation has seen a huge rise, okay? And the reason for this is because more landlords are switching to this model because you now have guests. You don't have tenants. With this model, you're going to get higher cash flow opportunities. You're not going to be impacted by the renters' rights bill, meaning that you can evict these guests. They're not on an AST agreement, okay? They are just paying for a few nights, a week, a month, whatever that is, to come and stay in your property. So that's why most people are shifting to this model. And one thing I wanted to focus on next is the system. And we all know that the system is rigged, but you can still win. The reason it's rigged is because from a very young age, schools teach you a very outdated financial thinking. Banks encourage consumer debt rather than investment. And not all debt is bad debt, obviously, because ultimately it enables me to leverage other people's money to build a property portfolio, which cash flows me and builds wealth in the long term. So what should people be actually doing right now? You need to know how to analyze these deals that you're ultimately going to come across, and you need to spot undervalued areas. Like I said earlier, you can buy a house for cheaper than it will cost to build it. You then need to build a network of people doing the same things that you want to do, because these are the people that are going to guide you to do very, very well. Now, the market is changing extremely fast. Trying to do this alone is hard, and you need the right information. And that's why we built the Members Club, so you're not guessing what to do next in property. And if you want a space where people can share deals, you can buy deals off people, you can sell deals to people, you can raise finance, have updates on the market, strategies, it's in the description. There's a link to book a call. I'm sure it will help change your life. If you want free content, no problem. Stay on this channel, subscribe to the channel, give me a comment and tell me what you want to see next, and I'll keep bringing this stuff and breaking it down for you. If you want to go deeper, be in the rooms that I'm in, see behind the scenes, and actually move with a community that's playing this game seriously and playing a much bigger game, then check out the Members Club. Make sure you don't just sit there still after watching this, scrolling on TikTok. Get out there and do something. Go and buy that property. Go and join that network. The market is changing with or without you. And the only question is whether you're on the side that gets squeezed or whether you're on the side that's prepared.